Breaking today, Prince Harry's biographer Angela Levin has said the Duke of Sussex is no longer a respectable or suitable member of the royal family after he went missing in Africa for 3 days.
Okay, so let's talk about the absolute circus surrounding Prince Harry's latest drama. Because honestly, this one might be the strangest yet. Apparently, Harry literally vanished in Africa for 3 days. Not a work trip, not a charity engagement, not even a planned, soul-searching retreat. He just went off the grid. No phone calls, no check-ins with Meghan.
With his so-called African mom, TJ Evans. Now, the mainstream media are ignoring this astonishing story as they continue a propaganda campaign to try and bring Harry back into the royal fold. Indeed, the Daily Telegraph today even running new commentary trying to pressure King Charles and Prince William into taking Prince Harry back. This is now in the Daily Telegraph, the pro-monarchy newspaper of the United Kingdom. This is a mainstream media plot, mark my words, and William must resist because I fear that the king won't. But this off-grid story is completely bizarre. You'll remember Charlotte Griffiths, who is the new propagandist for Harry, the new Omid Scobie, went public with this at the weekend, but it was buried within other stories which she considered more significant. However, to me, the fact that this dude is so troubled that he went off-grid, was uncontactable for over 3 days in Botswana, had no contact with his wife, no contact with his children, blew off any security concerns, shows just what a terrible state he is in. Of course, it comes so soon after that shocking picture emerged in London of Harry almost looking as if he was hunting drugs or something on a random street. So there is now a pattern of very troubled behaviour, and Angela Levin says the royal family must not forgive Prince Harry. She says that if they do forgive Prince Harry and Meghan have won and will then use and attack the royal family at every opportunity. Angela joins me now. Angela, you say after this disappearance act in Africa, Harry is no longer a suitable or respectable Prince of England.
Well, he's not suitable adult, is he? He's not a suitable father. I don't know what he's like as a husband, and that's not so important. But, he can't have it both ways. I mean, he's just in a ridiculous position. What I think is that he was in a panic after everything when Netflix were going to shut down what was going on with them. He was a panic. I'm sure Meghan was screaming at him because it was just shocking. So he went off. He had to go away. He had to find something where he could feel a bit better. And so he went to, I think it's Botswana, and he talked to this woman, Tanya, and her husband. And he's had a very, very close relationship with them since he was a teenager. He used to go there with Chelsea Davy. And actually, I think maybe she helped him to know what he should do at the end of their long relationship when it wasn't going to go anywhere, and she didn't want to be part of a royal where she wouldn't be quiet and left alone. And he loved her very much, but he didn't know what to do. And I think maybe if he was asking some help about Chelsea a long time ago, he might say, what do I do about Meghan? What shall I do? That's the sort of feeling I've got. I might be wrong, but I think that he trusted her and he need help. Who would he go for help? I mean, he couldn't go to his brother. He couldn't go to his sister-in-law, not his father. I mean, he hasn't got so many friends now. And so he doesn't know what to do. So I think he went there, and I think he was in such a state that he couldn't do anything else.
So, what does this all mean? Harry's disappearance in Africa might seem like a one-off, but in reality, it fits a bigger pattern of decline. He's estranged from his family. His lost key friendships. His career projects keep failing. His marriage looks volatile.
And although it doesn't absolutely help him in his career as a royal or was a royal, but I just think that he was just falling to pieces and he has to actually try and talk to somebody who understood him and then come back and get on with it. But you can't. I mean, little children don't understand about parents going away for a long time. But to leave Meghan, much as I dislike her, I think it is very concerning. And she panics. We've seen her panic. Remember when the Queen died and she was with William and sort of going round with all the looking at the flowers, and she didn't know what to do. She was flapping and she was all over the place. I think she's very, very narrow. Her skin is very, very narrow. That's why she could never go into politics, because she can't bear anyone criticizing her. She goes berserk. And I think that this is very much her. And the way she hangs on to Harry, I think part of it is that she wants to be with him, but other part is if she's scared if he goes into another part of wherever they are, and then she's left in the middle, because she hasn't got used to being a royal at all, has she? She hasn't made the attempt, and she can't do it. You know, that to be the sort of way of talking, it's got to be about me. We saw these terrible podcasts. It's such a mistake for her, because she was pouring out all sorts of shocking rubbish, and it was all about her. And I think that she's really, really scared about these things. And so he couldn't take it anymore. That's my decision.
I think you're absolutely right, Angela.
Thank
But
you.
why is the mainstream media so determined to ignore this and instead focusing on rubbish like this from the Daily Telegraph, Angela? I mean, this has absolutely infuriated people today. Eleanor Mills saying the King and Prince should embrace the Duke of Sussex's peace offering before it's too late. That is what family, royal or not, is about. And it's like, this is incessant now, this incessant mainstream media pressure. And I say shame on the Daily Telegraph, actually, for joining in, because I've always viewed the Daily Telegraph as the most pro-monarchy newspaper in the United Kingdom.
Dignified.
Yes, dignified, exactly. They serialised your book, I believe, on Queen Camilla, and they did so very respectfully. They're certainly not jumping on this bandwagon like the Daily Mail. But remember, the Telegraph, Angela, is considered the newspaper that the royals read. Certainly it was the newspaper the late Queen Elizabeth II read first every morning. And how is this going to go down? This pressure. Why should they reconcile? I mean, I'm just very disappointed in the mainstream media all the time. But I think for the Daily Telegraph to jump on this bandwagon is just atrocious.
I'm very worried about it, because I think I can't understand why people can't analyze that if somebody wants to come back and be, working with you and being with you, okay, you put that aside. But if they do nothing to help them do that, they are threatening things, they criticize you, they can't be trusted, they will sell anything you say onto somebody because it will give them money, and you don't even want to be in the country or anywhere they are. They just want money. Now, how can you trust this person? I can't understand it. They're not making any effort. If they said, look, I am so sorry about what I've said about you, but not, they come up with another phrase in a sentence which is hideous to hear. There's no attempt to be not the old Harry that he was, but to be a decent human being. I can't see it. And now we know that he could have his he's working on his Spare Two book. Oh, that's very nice to know that. So he's going to tumble in with loads and loads and loads of tiny things that he's furious about, like not enough sausages when someone else has had them, or, being pushed over. But I think he could be so vile after the king has allowed him to come back. This would come out, long, in several months. Not, he hasn't even written much about it, but he is interested in it, and he could earn loads of money, £40 million advance, let's tell you, and he's going to absolutely make tear them to pieces again. So that's his thank you for going back. I cannot believe that a man who says that or passes it round and somebody says it on his behalf can do that and accept the same thing that anyone's accept, that he should go in and carry on as if nothing happened. No. And if he did, if he went back and stayed for a little while, do you think he would do what the king told him to do, or William told him to, if he would speak to him, which I doubt it? If you say, would you go to this charity? Would you come this evening for this meeting? He's not going to do it anybody else's way but his own, because he's been away too long and he's become very sort of spiteful, and I'm the great person and don't do anything I don't want you to do. And I think that they can't let him do that. He's not going to be kind. He's not going to be nice. He's going to be rude. As for the Queen Camilla, he's going to not be kind to her because he calls her, a disaster and dangerous and all those things. And I think that King Charles is was very, very upset about that. I know that. But actually, to still leave that lingering, and actually that he went away to when it was Camilla's birthday in Angora. He went to Angora.
Oh, Angola,
And
yes.
yeah, he went
For the
to Angora.
landmines.
And the landmines, thank you. He went to and the landmines, and it came out the same time as it was Camilla's 78th birthday. So he got the pictures on the front of the papers and she didn't. She couldn't have cared less, actually. That's not something that is important to her at all. But I think the public would have said, look, what is this trash doing on the front? I mean, what about this amazing woman who has really helped her husband do well and comforted him and is very important?
Is showing signs of stress, instability, and escapism. And yet, the media keeps floating this idea of reconciliation, as if Charles and William should welcome him back with open arms. But critics warn that would be a disaster. Not only could Harry not be trusted, but Meghan would inevitably insert herself, controlling the narrative and using the monarchy for her own gain. Levin and others argue, better to keep the Sussexes at arm's length.
And then, Angela, we get the Charlotte Griffiths peace offering. And Charlotte Griffiths at the Mail on Sunday is now basically working full time to try and make this reunion happen via the Mail on Sunday, putting absolute pressure on the king. And the latest, Angela, that we got over the weekend was the fact that Harry had offered this massive olive branch, which means that he will now share his official diary, not with Kensington Palace and Prince William, but with the king and Buckingham Palace. But you say this isn't good enough. You say that actually this is terrible, that he is now insinuating that he's in some way almost more important than the king.
Yeah.
And you also have a very clear message to the royal family, which is do not trust Harry because he's going to give everything to Meghan Markle, and you believe that she is still trying to destroy the monarchy. Explain.
Yeah, absolutely. But, give away his diary. What's he doing? There's hardly anything on any page. It's just a superior action that means nothing. He's not, if he was within the royal family, he would have a special diary where he writes down what's going on. He's not. He hasn't been for 5 years. So how dare he say to the king, I can't come then, and I can't come now, and I can't come next week. And you'll have to make sure that you can change things around so you come on, 9 o'clock at so and so. Absolutely, how dare he? But it's nothing. But he doesn't want his brother, and he doesn't want his sister-in-law. And I think that's awful. That's terrible. He thinks he wants to go back and get in, but he doesn't want them in when they're discussing anything, nor does he want the Queen in while they're discussing anything. Who does he think he is now? He's not royal. He can't make the rules. He can't say that to his father. Here's my diary, my aide will sort it out with you. Absolutely not. I can't bear it. I absolutely can't bear it. I'm very fond of the king. I think he does his absolute best, and the others. And I just think he's just sunk to nothing. And of course, Meghan is there. She's right there. And I can't believe if they stay together still, and we don't know that she won't actually have to know everything that's going on. And she will control him. And he does listen to that. She's like, a machine that's telling you which way to go and you drive, not this way, that way. And he will listen. And I think that she's out to destroy the royal family. She has been right from the first time she actually met the Queen. She was extremely rude, and she wouldn't even tell her anything about her wedding dress, nothing. Who would do that to their mother-in-law, to the Queen of England, and, absolutely the most popular woman in the world? How could she do that? But she's never liked her, and her curtsy, which she did as well, which was disgusting. But if she starts telling Harry how to behave, that they've won, they will then go ballistic, because that means they can do anything they want. They can refuse to do things. They can make more and more demands about money, because that's what they want, really. And they will just go on and on and on with a man who is suffering from cancer, with a woman who's nearly 80, with, all that doesn't count for a second, because it's all about them and what they want. And if they're let loose, they will absolutely pull the royal family and everybody around them down. I don't want that.
No,
So that's why
indeed,
I'm
I
going
don't want
on.
that either. Well, I don't want that either. But look, according to Charlotte Scobie, Griffiths from the Mail on Sunday, Harry actually wants a meeting with the king in September.
Because if they allow back in, the monarchy risks being undermined from within. At the end of the day, Harry's 3-day disappearance raises more questions than answers. Was he seeking peace and advice from old friends? Or was he running away from Meghan, responsibility, and reality itself? What's clear is this: he's a troubled man, caught between two worlds, belonging to neither. The royals don't trust him. The public is growing weary of him. And Meghan? Well, depending on who you ask, she's either his rock or the very reason is falling apart. So, how long can this go on before something breaks? His marriage, his reputation, or his fragile ties to the royal family? This African episode might not just be another scandal. It could be a glimpse of the beginning of the end.